This video is showing some capsize and reboarding drills that Wanders and Swamp Fox did in their boat Scout in order to prepare for the 2016 Everglades Challenge. So we'd done reboarding drills before, so we knew we could actually get back into the boat, but this is the first time that we've capsized it in earnest here. So as you can see, we go to the side of the boat and we find out that this boat is actually pretty hard to capsize. Swamp Fox goes into the water, and I'm sitting on the gunnel pretty hard, can't get it to go over. Start pulling on the mast, trying to get it to go over, and we just can't get it to go, and so finally it just pops up and we both go into the water. At this particular point, we discover that we haven't thrown over the stirrup that allows us to reboard the boat, and so after a moment's thought here, we decide, well, we got to figure out how to get back into the boat. So we try on this side. You can see right here we're both putting all our weight on the side, trying to get it to come over, or enough at least that somebody could jump in, but to no avail. It's a pretty high-sided boat, which has its pluses and minuses. So we swim around the boat, get to the other side. We're going to try it from the other side. The lee board is on the other side, thinking we might be able to get some additional leverage. There we go. I'm trying to reach for that boarding stirrup. I can almost reach it, but I can't get to it. It's in a net that hangs out down from underneath the seat. Swamp Fox tries to get in, and then we decide, well, we'll just use Wanders as a boarding ladder. So Swamp Fox basically climbs on me as a boarding ladder, and is able to climb up and roll into the boat. So this was a very good lesson learned, that we can actually get into the boat even if we don't have that boarding stirrup. Swamp Fox says we meant to do that. So so I swim back around to the other side, get into the stirrup, and proceed to try and get back in the boat. Try pulling up the first time and discover that the pockets on the front of my PFD catch on the gunnel and make it hard to get into the boat. So at this particular point, Swamp Fox kindly decides to get onto the other side of the boat, bring the side of the gunnel down a little bit, and I pull up again, figure out what I need to do. I kind of need to push away from the boat a little bit, and I'm able to get in. So after getting into the boat, we decided that we needed to go ahead and try it again and tip it over for real this time. And again, we still have the sails down. So climb up on the side and really give it a pull. I'm hanging onto the mast, and we get it to finally go over. And you'll notice that it goes quite a bit over. Actually, it went over far enough for the mast to go down and touch the bottom. It was only about 5 or 6 feet deep here. And so that was somewhat unexpected. And, we took a look at these videos afterwards, and also after thinking about it, and we think that it went over so far because the sail actually wasn't up, wasn't getting the additional flotation from the yard sitting at the top of the mast, and also the sail slows down the capsize. So as you'll see later on in the video, that when we had the sail fully up, it floats nicely on its side. So anyway, I swum out to the end of the mast and lifted the mast up, got it unstuck from the bottom. Swamp Fox, you can see him, he's throwing the riding line over the side, and he will swim around the back of the boat, hanging on of course, and get on that riding line, put his feet, brace his feet against the bottom. the boat is on its side, so the lee board is up in the air, and there's no possible way for him to reach it. It's about 5 feet up in the air, 4 feet, 5 feet up in the air. So he just puts his feet on the bottom of the boat, hangs on to that riding line, and pulls the boat up. And according to his report, it didn't take much effort at all. I then swim up to the side of the boat and grab on the gunnel to help prevent the boat from over-rotating, which it showed no tendency to do, so I don't know that that's necessary. And boat comes up, and water drains up into the bottom. At this point, I noticed that that the stirrup for us to reboard is still in the boat. This turns out to not be a problem. We just tie a loop in the riding line, and we climb in the boat that way. And actually, we find that that works better. So we're going to remove that stirrup that we had and just use the riding line. It's about 20 feet long or something like that, and it gives us plenty of line to do what we need to do in order to be able to get in. Swamp Fox gets set. After a little bit of effort, is able to roll into the boat. At this point, he's asking me to take the stirrup or the loop off of his foot. It was a little bit tight. One of the things I find interesting is that he was able to roll into the boat without me on the other side counterbalancing, so that just gives you some idea of the stability of this particular boat, even when it's full of water. So here I am, all set up, come up, takes me a little bit of effort, and I'm able to roll in as well. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and raise the sails. Swamp Fox already has pulled up the mizzen, so I'm raising the main here. You can see this kind of bag underneath here. This is just, we've got a reef in it from the last time that we went out, and it's just holding water from our previous capsize. So we'll let the boat drift around, point into the wind, and then we'll look at what it looks like capsizing the boat from the vantage point of the dock. So as you can see, we're both pretty hard on the side of the boat, and she still doesn't want to go over. And we've even got water in the boat from the last capsize. So Swamp Fox releases the sheet, pushes the boom over, kind of leans on the boom, and finally gets to go over. Now I'm sitting on the side, and I think if I had climbed up into the boat, I could have re-righted it right there, but I'm having to really push on the boom in order to make it go over. Finally, we get it to go over, and she settles down into the water. And you can see she's floating pretty high on her side, and there's really not much tendency for that sail to go under the water. So here I am throwing the riding line over the side, and of course the first place that I throw it is up on top of the lee board. I could hear Swamp Fox telling me that, and then the folks on shore told me even louder. So pitched it over the second time. Swamp Fox is able to grab onto the riding line, and by doing the same kind of parbuckling maneuver, is able to raise the boat out of the water pretty easily. I'm a little bit tangled up in the sheet there, so actually I still had hold of the boat, but I think that on future drills and kind of as a matter of policy, we'll both get on the same side of the boat before we try and ride it.
More than one sailor's been picked up in the middle of the bay with no boat in
Here you
sight.
can see Swamp Fox is already up in the boat. I'm coming around. and this time basically pop up into the boat. It was pretty easy, and all that's left to do is bail. So now we're going to take a look at what it looks like from inside the boat. So here we are moving to the side, and you can see, I'm standing up, leaning on the mast a little bit. Swamp Fox is certainly, he's over on the gunnel. We're pushing over, and it's going very, very slowly. Swamp Fox releases the sheet, water starts to come in, and then she goes over about that far and then kind of stops. I'm still pushing. Thinking maybe some buoyancy coming from the boom, not sure, but it just didn't want to go over. I think if I'd climbed up on the other gunnel, I could have righted it right there. But we were pretty insistent on having her go on her side, so there she goes. And she settles on her side, and you can see that's much more at 90 degrees compared to when we didn't have the sail up. So pitching the riding line up, and I actually thought it was pretty funny that that was the first place I threw it, was up on the lee board. So here I am pitching it back behind the lee board. Swamp Fox is able to grab it and gets it positioned where he wants it, and starts to raise the boat up out of the water. You can see the sheet was on my legs there. So as Swamp Fox pops up into the boat, I swim around the back. You can see I'm looking here. I'm looking just to explore to see whether or not I would be able to get in over the stern. And no, I don't think there's any way that I could do that. So make my way over to the riding line that has the loop in it. I think in this case, in a real situation, the first thing that Swamp Fox would have done, whoever's in the boat first thing to do is to lower that sail and sheet in the mizzen tight. So we'll make a note of that in our follow-up evolutions here to make sure that we do that. So what did we learn by doing these capsize tests? Well, first of all, we learned that the boat does not capsize very easily at all. But also that if the sail is down, the boat may tend to turn turtle, because she went pretty far over when we had the sails down. But when the sails are up, she seems to be pretty well behaved, pretty resistant to going over, and she lays pretty docilely on her side when the sails are up. We also learned that we can reboard the boat without a riding line or a stirrup if need be, but only if both of us are in the water. I think it would be very difficult for one person to reboard the boat if you didn't have some kind of a stirrup over the side. Also learned that having a bunch of pockets on your PFD is good for carrying all the required equipment. However, please be aware that it makes it more difficult to climb over the side of the boat, especially a high-sided boat like this. You can get caught on the gunnel, so just be aware and modify your technique of coming over the side. The boat's pretty stable, even with 6 to 9 inches of water in it. And also that the boat comes up really easily, even with a single person on the riding line. And one of the other things that we learned is that we really need to have both of the crews securely holding onto the boat, or even better, on the same side of the boat before we right the boat, just to make sure that the boat doesn't sail away from somebody. On that same point, whoever's in the boat first, make sure that the other crew member has got a hold of the boat, and then get that mainsail down as quickly as you can, and sheet in the mizzen in order to park the boat and kind of get it stabilized and make sure that you don't go over again. And then lastly, we need to get another bailing bucket or a scoop, it took a fair amount of time to get the water out of the boat with just a single bucket and the hand pump. So I think that 2 buckets would work better for getting most of the water out of the boat.